This is the Welcome to Raw is Jericho!
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Listen up, you blind slapnut. If I can be serious for a minute.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.
The real reason I came here tonight is because we are live!
We Flex are NXT.
It's your time, folks! Sweet! A little bit of the bubbly.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
For life.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of every age, it is almost here, that magical time of WrestleMania. Man, we're almost there, guys. We are 1 week away. And actually, we're under. Actually, yeah, we are 1 week away from WrestleMania 37 with fans in the stands again, guys. I am so hyped about this, guys. It is unbelievable. It's been a while. It's been a long while. But it is also Thursday, guys. So you know what that means. It is time for the Flex Network's Wrestling Week in Review show. Live here on Facebook, live on the YouTube, and live on that Twitter. Man, a lot of things going on as we get ever so close to WrestleMania. We get closer to TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, the 2-night event. And of course, both of those are 2 nights events. Man. And we also had a great Dynamite show this past week, a great NXT. The final NXT before Stand and Deliver. And we still have 2 more SmackDowns to go. We still have one more Raw to go before we hit that magical time of WrestleMania. And there was something else. Oh, yes, I know what it is. The date today. I mean, it's kind of funny, isn't it? It is April Fool's Day that we do our show, but not only that, I mean, it's, besides being April Fool's Day, for every jokester out there that loves this day, it is 20 years ago today, and yes, I am showing my age here, that another WrestleMania happened. A iconic WrestleMania happened on this date. And man, am I now starting to feel old. Just for the plain fact that this happened exactly 20 years ago to the day. I am talking about the one, the only WrestleMania 17, Houston, Texas, at the Reliant Astrodome. Man, am I showing my age here, guys. It is just too crazy. Hold on. Yeah. It's not, oh, come on. I know you want to pop up. I know. I gave you the proper introduction to WrestleMania. Yeah. Here we go. But yes, WrestleMania 17. Holy heck, am I showing my age? And yes, Houston, we have a problem. But dang, WrestleMania 17, 20 years ago today, Rock Austin 2, TLC, the biggest one of all time, TLC 2, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit. I said the C word. Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle, a great technical match right there. One for the ages. The triple threat hardcore title match. Raven, Big Show, Kane. That one was crazy on its own. Golf carts, Raven getting tossed through windows, going through Big Show and Kane going through walls. Big Show and Raven getting tossed off a stage. Yeah, I remember it. Undertaker and Triple H at WrestleMania the first time around. Let's see what else. APA and Taz taking on the Right to Censor. That was awesome. Jericho and William Regal for the Intercontinental Championship. Test and Eddie Guerrero for the European title. Man, such great matches at that on that card. Oh, Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon in a street fight. Man, just a lot of great action from that night, WrestleMania 17, 20 years ago. Man, I feel old. Don't you guys just feel old too? If you go back and watch one of the best one of the best WrestleManias, bar none, height of the Attitude Era, right before, this was right as the WCW was gone and being integrated into WWE for the Invasion. But man, just a lot of great matches on that card that night. And just a lot of history, man. But that was 20 years ago. Let's get back to today's stuff, guys. It was great to reminisce. But speaking of course, of the past, we got some news for you guys. And let's get back into WrestleMania mode here. But we got a little news we got to talk to you about first, because right out the bat, we know that Peacock, yes, Peacock and /NBC is adding more content out of wrestling history for the WWE content that they have now. And well, I would not call it really controversial or sensitive, but of course it's 2020 or 2021, and it's just everyone's so sensitive about stuff. So but moving on, and from that little point, so Peacock has officially edited out the July 6, 1998 Monday Night Raw segment of DX and the parody of the Nation of Domination, as X-Pac playing Mark Henry and his face was black. I'm not going to get too far into, mentality of this, okay? Because here's the thing. And I'm pretty sure you can still find it on YouTube and everything. Again, taking a step back from the whole context of what's going on in our world right now and looking at it. First time ever. If someone was to look at it first time ever, it's like, if they were to watch the storyline, leading up to that SummerSlam 98, you would see, okay, everything going on. It's like, and the promo, DX playing as the Nation, Hunter as the Croc, China as the Boss Man. Or sorry, no, not the Boss Man. China as herself. D'Lo Brown being played by Road Dogg Jesse James. Hold on. Yeah. But yeah, just China playing herself. I want to say, yeah, D'Lo Brown being played by Road Dogg, Billy Gunn playing the role of the Godfather, and X-Pac playing Mizark, aka Mark Henry, and they got some random person to play Owen Hart with a big nose, dressed up like Owen Hart. But again, looking at it, it was meant to be, funny. You got a group of people just making fun of the group wise of the Nation of Domination. Now, in today's society, and everyone being all sensitive about this, I could see why. You got someone who has black paint on their face and a big old, puffed out suit that says Mizark. I could see. But again, it doesn't need to be edited edited out. Just, I would say, put on the context at the beginning of the show, like a lot of shows on the WWE network saying the WWE network, WWE and Peacock, blah blah blah, do not content, do not approve, or I forgot, like a warning label, like they do with like any Chris Benoit matches or certain things. Even like on Disney, they have put up some warnings, for like Peter Pan, for Dumbo, like certain stuff. They put up some warnings. But it doesn't need to be edited out, because then that just gets people who want to watch, the full unedited version, the real, like feel like they want to go back and rewatch the true history of wrestling, Monday Night Wars or stuff like that, and it gets edited out. You're going to get people that are going to be pissed off as hell. So, and it's even removed from SummerSlam 98, from the highlight reel or package in SummerSlam 98. So SummerSlam has already been edited out a lot. You got the no intro that was from the pay-per-view, because again, it was AC/DC's Highway to Hell, but that was years and years and years ago, because no one can ever find like the actual true intro, because a lot of times you would see the intro, the main intro with the build up for the Austin Undertaker matchup and everything, and then at the very end it just goes straight into the fireworks and everything. You don't get the staggered, Stridex presents SummerSlam Highway to Hell, and it just winds through like in the vision of New York in hell, the Highway to Hell, and it goes straight into Madison Square Garden, and then the fireworks. That part's edited out. You'd have to go and find that little clip intro just to fit into the SummerSlam for 98. But again, that got edited out for wide distribution. Don't know why. I mean, it's been years. But anyhow, moving along from that little rant on that one, the fact that a lot of content is being edited out, and not just put up a warning label saying, hey, this content you're about to see, there may be some sensitive parts, forewarning. But no, they want to edit it out, remove it, act like, oh, this has never happened in the world, in the history, and it just makes it so like incomplete and not true to history. But as of course, WWE and Peacock are reviewing all past content to ensure it fits. Of course, this was a quote from WWE that they said in New York Times. Peacock and WWE are reviewing all past content to ensure it fits our 2021 standards. And then Peacock released a statement also saying, we are reviewing WWE content to ensure it aligns with Peacock's standards and practices. Basically, trying to be a family-friendly place or entity, which, again, You could have just said, hey, we're reviewing some stuff. Might put up a warning label on. It's like, hey, the content you're about to watch is sensitive, is not meant to reflect Peacock or WWE as a whole. It was shot during a different time period where you could say they had permission to do this to one another. So, just for that. But anyhow, just a heads up, if anybody out there remembers or even found the DX parody of the Nation of Domination funny whatsoever, it's going to be erased on the network. So if you've got, the old tapes, if you got old school tapes, you got DVDs before that had that parody in the in your box sets or whatnot, you better go and find them and keep them, because that's the only way you're going to be able to see, or even try to find it on or even find it on YouTube, because I'm pretty sure it's there. You could go and try and watch that parody and the other apparent controversial stuff that's going on that has been removed from Peacock's streaming service. So let's see, moving on quickly. Of course, the big news out of this past week is that NXT is moving starting April 13th. They will be moving to Tuesdays. So yes, in 2 weeks from this past Tuesday, they will be officially, so after Takeover Stand and Deliver, they will be officially on Tuesday nights. And for another 3 years, or actually another 2 years on the USA Network. So great for NXT, as they'll be able to get everyone to watch NXT on Tuesdays, and of course Dynamite on Wednesdays. That way people aren't flipping back and forth, though I'm pretty sure a lot of people have figured out a way to watch either NXT on one TV and AEW on another TV, or at least if you're kind of a West Coast guy that's got East Coast, some East Coast channels, you can watch one or the other at one time and then turn to the West Coast version after that's done. So either way, you couldn't have lost on that one. But officially, as of the 13th, this is not an April Fool's Day joke, NXT is moving to Tuesdays starting the 13th, which should be fun. Other big news, Brian Kendrick, if you guys remember seeing him on the 205 roster, WWE roster, former tag team champion, and at least in the WWE Championship Scramble back at Unforgiven when they first did it, unofficial WWE champion one time, unofficially, but never official, anything with that. I want to say former Cruiserweight champion. I want to say that. But he is officially quietly retired from in-ring as an in-ring performer and has moved to being a producer for 205 Live. Congrats on him for, finding a good role. Obviously, working with the 205 Live crew can help get the Cruiserweights more elevation there. Should be good for them. Other quick little news before we talk about what went down and get ready for WrestleMania week coming up. The Road Dogg is apparently out of the hospital after suffering a suspected heart attack this past Thursday, last week. Looks like he's out and doing well after getting hit with it. And obviously, he still has some tests that he needs to do, but it looks to be in great shape. Thoughts and prayers are with the Road Dogg, Jesse James, a.k.a. Brian James, for a healthy recovery and safe healing with his heart attack that he suffered through last week. And then last little bit, Eric Young over there at Impact Wrestling is going to be out 6 to 9 months. He apparently tore his ACL during his matchup this past week against the Cowboy, James Storm's 1,000th career match at TNA Impact Wrestling. So he's going to be out 6 to 9 months. It's unfortunate, as I think this is his first like legit career or legit injury in his career that required him to be out. So it sucks, but and it's even worse to do it when it's on someone you've worked with for so long in their 1,000th match, a highlight in their career. Got to see the reuniting of America's Most Wanted on the show right before, during the Cowboy James Storm's promo. One half of the greatest tag teams in Impact TNA wrestling history right there. I mean, besides, beer, money, besides that tag team. But yeah, it was, congratulations on James Storm and his 1,000th match at Impact Wrestling, aka TNA. I'm still someone who likes TNA. But yeah, congratulations on that. And I believe that is really going to be it for news for this week. So let's get in on what went down this past week as we're gearing up on the last stretch of this road to WrestleMania. We could see it, guys. I mean, we'll have Takeover, Send and Deliver next week. We'll talk about what went down NXT and Dynamite this week. But normally we'll do, sometimes we'll talk SmackDown. And, of course, we'll talk Raw. But SmackDown, I feel like, again, I've been saying this for a while. Like, nothing real interesting to a point happens on SmackDown a whole lot. I mean, yeah, 4 matches on the card. This past week, Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. Good match. It's a real good match. Seth picks up the victory over Shinsuke. Apollo Crews and Alpha Academy taking on Big E and the Profits. Of course, Profits looking to try to get back in that tag team title picture on the SmackDown side against Dolph and Robert Roode. And apparently didn't pick up that well because Apollo Crews and the Alpha Academy defeat Big E and the Profits. Apollo Crews getting an Intercontinental title shot at WrestleMania. And then, of course, Bianca Belair on the road to her WrestleMania moment, taking on Natalya in a good matchup on the women's side. Bianca picking up the victory, and then Rey Mysterio beating Dolph Ziggler in one-on-one action. So, I mean, it was an okay show. I'll give it that. It was an okay show. But hopefully we could see, of course, the announcement made that the SmackDown main event, at least for its world title, will be a triple threat match coming off of Fastlane. Roman Reigns will take on Edge. Will take on Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match for the Universal Championship. That should be a heck of a good match at WrestleMania for the Universal title. And I cannot wait. And again, I have no real beef with SmackDown because, of course, it just tends to be a lot. It feels like it just seems to be more condensed. But again, I mean, for only being a 2-hour show, and you got X, Y, and Z, you got a lot, you have some people that, of course, we're trying to focus in on, and you got, the women's tag team titles that are going to both shows, trying to get people to, continue to be interested on the SmackDown side with the Universal title, the SmackDown women's title, the SmackDown tag team titles. And of course, if you're not fighting for a title, you got to come up with your own, have a program that works to get people to watch SmackDown. And I feel like in 2 hours, it really hasn't hit the mark yet. For, of course, wanting to watch SmackDown, be a SmackDown exclusive supporter. I'm not saying I'm not, but for a 2-hour gig, it's not what it used, what it felt like. If you go back and was to watch 2003, you had a lot of great moments in the 2003 SmackDown, or even 2002, that made you want to watch SmackDown. It made it so like you were watching, or heck, even 2001, 2002, 2003. If you were watching those SmackDowns, you were feel like you were getting great content. You were getting great moments to be like, dude, I bleed SmackDown. SmackDown is my brand. I don't care about Monday Night Raw. I care about the SmackDown brand. And right now, it just feels like, to me, SmackDown is just falling short of that mark of, a lot of people want to tune into SmackDown because they care, they want to see SmackDown be an A show, but it's more like it's struggling. That's the word I'm going to use. It's just struggling, at least to me. But moving on from SmackDown, heading over to Raw, which, of course, the 3-hour show. And I feel like while they have the 3 hours, I feel like they do too much. And I understand you got 3 hours, you got to kill here. You have 3 hours to play with. You got to get people interested in the main title, your world title, WWE Championship. You got to get people interested on the women's tag team titles. You got to get people interested in the singles women's title, and you got to get people interested in the secondary title, the U.S. title. Oh, and I also should have said that for the Intercontinental title on SmackDown. No disrespect to Big E. Gotta get people interested on the women's title over there. So you got 4 titles: World, U.S., Tag, Women's, and Women's Tag. Sorry, so 5 titles you gotta worry about in a 3-hour time span. I get that, and you still gotta get other people airtime so that they can get build up, so they can get into a title picture, and while also trying to create, get others involved, so where if they're not in a title picture, that it makes them look viewable and want to be seen on TV. So again, a lot of ducks in a row that I think while the 3 hours is, they're doing too much, or it's just not clicking right over there. But anyhow, the big news out of Raw this past week, the Hurt Business split. What? The Hurt Business? Yes, the Hurt Business of Bobby Lashley, MVP, have ceased being with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, due into part the fact that last week on the show, they failed in keeping their tag team title, or actually it was 2 weeks ago that they lost their tag team titles. Yeah, they lost their tag team titles 2 weeks ago. To the New Day. Last week they failed to destroy beat Drew McIntyre in the 2-on-1 handicap match, and got banned from ringside at WrestleMania. So no matter what, they're banned from ringside, even if they're part of the Hurt Business, even if they were not part of the Hurt Business. And they almost cost a match with Bobby Lashley and Sheamus. So I could see why Bobby Lashley wanted to get rid of him, but it was one of the best things going on the Raw side right now. I mean, you had a chance, a real chance to keep this good super group on Raw together, maybe hit a rough patch, and then they smooth sailing for maybe till SummerSlam. I'll give it that. Maybe till SummerSlam, maybe they hit another rough patch. So, something goes on. But I just felt like the Hurt Business this past week should not have been broken up. I mean, the current version, because I just don't. You had one of the best opportunities. I mean, granted, if MVP was not injured, I felt like he could probably go for that U.S. title again and grab it, and they would have held every major men's title on Raw. That would have been as impressive as the Evolution days. Legitimately as impressive as the Evolution days when they held the world's heavyweight title, the Intercontinental title, and the World Tag Team titles. They were this close. Legitimately, they were this close. Now, granted, holding on to the U.S. title, then the tag team titles, that got them close. That got them, inching closer. Okay, they lost the U.S. title. Okay, dropped them a little bit, but getting the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber, that put them so close into the upper echelon of being as dominant. I mean, not really as dominant, but as impactful as Evolution was when they held every major title on Raw. Now, not to say that the Hurt Business with Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and Bobby Lashley winning essentially every world title, all the men's world titles, is not impressive. I mean, Bobby Lashley being U.S. champion and WWE champion, Cedric and Shelton holding on, winning or getting the tag team titles. They won all the major titles, but to hold all four simultaneously, that would have been as impressive and as dominant as Evolution, and then to hold on to them for maybe even through WrestleMania. If that was to have happened, I would guarantee you right now that Drew McIntyre was not going to win at WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley wins, and they hold all the major titles. But it didn't happen, as Cedric and Shelton Benjamin are split. They're gone from the Hurt Business, as proved as this past week on Raw. Lashley took it on Shelton Benjamin in one-on-one action, beat him. We know next week on the final Raw before WrestleMania, Cedric wants Bobby Lashley one-on-one. Should be really a good warm-up match, but to keep him somewhat in tune to get ready for WrestleMania, as he will face Drew McIntyre. And we're going to run down the cards again for WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver coming up near the end. Sheamus taking on Matt Riddle one-on-one. Sheamus picking up the victory. He's going to get a U.S. title shot at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman taking on Jackson Riker in one-on-one action. You figured Strowman's just going to I figured destroy Jackson Riker like that. Of course, he already has his match with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, but up the stakes to have a steel cage match. This is the first time in a long time we've had a steel cage match at WrestleMania. What do you got to think? Not since WrestleMania 2, I would think, that we've had a steel cage match at a WrestleMania. You got to think that has a long time. A very, very, very long time that there has been a steel cage match at WrestleMania. Let me just double check. For you guys. Of the last time we've had a steel cage match, because I know we had one with King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 2 in the three sites that we had. I'm just trying to, I think that is the first time we've had a steel cage match since WrestleMania 2, which again is just so long, a very, very long time since we've had a solid steel cage match, or a potentially good cage match at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 2. I've got no problem with that. It could be great. I mean, granted, with everything with Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman, it's already going to be crazy, but actually, even more so with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, that's going to bump it up just a little bit. Even how, depending on how bad the fact that we got this match rolling and how people are like, dude, this has just been embarrassment. It's just been very, very bad. The setup, for this whole match, Braun's dumb, showing his report card, D's and everything. It's like, and getting slimed 2 weeks ago. It's like, it just makes it look bad. But the fact we're going to get a steel cage match out of this at a WrestleMania, okay, depending on how well it handles on night one, it might be a chance to turn around this bad situation into, okay, you know what? We may have been dumping on this, of how everything was starting, everything, the whole Braun is dumb. And we got a great moment out of that in the steel cage match. Because, with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, there's going to be a moment. It's going to be a crazy moment too, where like Shane McMahon climbs the top of the cage. You're like, okay, Shane, do not go back in there. Just climb over and never mind. He's just going to jump off the cage and jump onto Braun Strowman. Okay. That's where I'm going to feel like it's going to come down to that moment where Shane McMahon's going to have that choice of like, do I escape or do I create a WrestleMania moment and potentially continue to get my butt whooped? Smart move, highlight move, smart move, highlight move. Oh, I'm going to go for the highlight move and jump off this cage. And what sucks is now with, this match being a steel cage match, that takes away the potential WrestleMania moment to jump off a pirate ship, which would have been one of the best moments, period. Shane McMahon just jumping off that Tampa Bay Buccaneer pirate ship at WrestleMania. It would have been awesome. But we still may get it. I mean, again, we still have a lot of time. We still have some time and things could come up. But anyhow, moving on. Xavier Woods taking on AJ Styles again. Still, we haven't seen almost get in the ring and at least show us some. Apparently we're just gonna have his first match at WrestleMania and hope it's good. Especially for the Raw Tag Team titles. And with the New Day and AJ Styles in the mix, hopefully it'll be good. But Xavier Woods beats AJ Styles via disqualification. Naomi taking on Shayna Baszler in women's action. Naomi beats one half of the women's tag team champs. Drew McIntyre taking on Ricochet in one-on-one. Basically having that big old bullseye / bounty that if anyone takes out Drew McIntyre before WrestleMania, that Bobby Lashley will give whoever takes out Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. They'll have a match at WrestleMania for the WWE title. It will just be a title shot because of course he's playing up that. Yeah, you'll have your WrestleMania moment, be a WrestleMania in the main event for the WWE title, and then get flat and lose to me. Drew McIntyre taking on Ricochet won in a great matchup on Raw. Drew beats Ricochet. Then immediately following, Mustafa Ali comes out to try to claim the bounty, but unfortunately, Drew beats him in another match to end the night. At least for wrestling matches, outcomes from SmackDown, King Corbin. The shock, really, that Corbin, of course, Lashley, Drew, and Corbin, teaming together a couple years ago. And they ran roughshod a little bit. They were actually dominant. But now that Corbin's on SmackDown, and now seeing an opportunity, of course, being on SmackDown and essentially being a part of what was considered a match that no one wanted to see. How do you get that mantra off you that really I'm not important enough? You go to Raw and you take out one of the top guys and try to get in on that main event scene for the WWE title. And I don't have, and again, that's not that's a brazen way to get into the title picture. And especially coming from SmackDown, guarantee you that this week there's going to be some payback before we hit Monday Night Raw next week. And the check's in the mail, guys, that King Corbin's going to get a hefty butt whooping coming this week on a SmackDown. But yeah, of course. Yeah, I already talked about everybody else. Her business. Yep, I already talked about, and of course, Cedric Alexander taking on WWE Champ Bobby Lashley next week on the final Raw before WrestleMania. That should be great. But let's head on over to NXT and talk what went down this past week on the Black and Gold brand. On the final, the keyword, the final NXT before Stand and Deliver this next week. The 2-night event should be, I love takeovers. It's one of the best times. Cameron Grimes taking on Roderick Strong in one-on-one action. First match for Roddy after the split of Undisputed Era. Cameron Grimes, that still riding high on his money, trying to buy his way out, into situations. Cameron Grimes wins. Thanks to kind of somewhat of a little distraction of, with the Undisputed Era armband. And Roddy is still, I would say, again, he is haunted with that, the Undisputed Era, trying to shake that, especially after being so dominant for so many years with Undisputed Era. You gotta shake it off. And I think, of course, Roddy has got to get back into the winning ways before, pre-Undisputed Era, when he was just damn good, real damn good. He's still damn good, but right now with Undisputed Era still on the brain and everything, I think it's just going to take a little bit more time for him to get back to the Messiah of the backbreaker. And even more, I would say, if he can get back to that, portion of his career and, outshine, the Undisputed Era Roddy, I think he can go for that NXT title. I think he could do some damage with that. Santos Escobar taking on Tyler Breeze. One-on-one action. Santos getting, warm up before TakeOver. Santos beating a former NXT Tag Team Champion and former Raw Tag Team Champion in Tyler Breeze before next week's ladder match. It was a good match. Great cruiserweight action right there. I cannot wait for the cruiserweight title match this coming week, guys. It's going to be awesome. Ken Saray and Indy just having their way, challenging for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles after taking out two little competitors handsomely, looking good at. And they'll get their title opportunity next week. Raquel Gonzalez taking on Zoe Stark. Raquel looking strong as ever, heading into our women's title opportunity. And Io Shirai, not really a thorn, but this past week on NXT was a complete thorn in Raquel. After the match, attacking her. Before the match, attacking her. After the match, attacking her. Backstage, attacking her. And just getting flatlined, put through a wall, / window that was covered up. Literally just caused destruction backstage, to where they end the night with the women out there, Io Shirai and Raquel, fighting out essentially back to the ring. Io Shirai diving off the top rope and taking out Raquel to end the night. I cannot wait for this NXT Women's Title match. It is going to be so awesome. Literally, it's going to tear the house down on night one. Legitimately, is going to destroy the CWC Center, the Capital Wrestling Center. I don't even know if there's going to be a building for night two anymore because night two is going to be so awesome. Tag team action. Well, essentially tag team action, but it was more like a handicap match. Kane Carter and Casey Catanzaro taking on essentially their former friend Xia Li in tag team action. Tag team handicap action, because again, it was supposed to be tag team action, but it was more like handicap. Xia Li picks up the win over Casey Catanzaro, as her partner was kind of passed out with the smoke. She got the smoke and was passed out at the top of the ramp. And I'm still intrigued with this whole situation with these four. Is it's very interesting. Can't wait to see what it's going to come out of this. If we're going to get a new female wrestler out of this, or if it's just more ancient Japanese, spooky stuff out of that. And then we had the final match of the night was the Battle Royal to determine who was going to be qualifying for the Gauntlet Eliminator match at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. 11 men in that match. Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, Kushida, Leon Ruff, Cameron Grimes, Austin Theory, Roderick Strong, LA Knight, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Pete Dunne, Tyler Rust, and Jake Atlas. 11 men, only 6 spots. And it was fun. It was a great match to watch. Of course, once they got down to the final 6, those were your final competitors that automatically qualified for TakeOver. And following that, we had, when they were eliminated, that's how they were going to get put into the order that they will be in for the match. Of course, we had Leon Ruff eliminated first, so he will start. Isaiah Swerve Scott was the next one out, so it'll be Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott starting the match at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Bronson Reed eliminated third, so he will be the first fresh face in the match at TakeOver. Cameron Grimes eliminated, trying to buy himself, with LA Knight and Dexter Lumis trying to buy himself, into the final spot. That didn't work as he got tossed out of the ring. Cameron Grimes, of course, will be the second entry into the match, aka the fourth person. Dexter gets tossed out by LA Knight. He will be the fifth. And of course, with LA Knight winning the Battle Royal, has ensured himself the final spot in the match in the Gauntlet Eliminator at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. So it's going to be a very fun match this Sunday. Michael, my brother, Mania is almost here. Yes, it is. I literally cannot wait. We're going to run. Actually, yeah, we're going to run down the card in a little bit of what's going to be happening at TakeOver and at WrestleMania that we know of right now. We know that TakeOver is finalized, locked away, sealed, and ready to go. But yeah, it's going to be freaking awesome this coming week. Whew, need a drink here. I'm so good. So let's head on over to, let's get out of this for a moment. Let's head on over to Dynamite. This past week, Christian Cage has first matchup on AEW against Frankie Kazarian. It was a great matchup for Christian Cage. First time in what, years that he has a one-on-one match. His second one back since he's been back in active wrestling. First since the Royal Rumble. And they had a great matchup, guys. It was awesome. Frankie Kazarian came up short. against Christian Cage. We know it was. I thought it was a great match. Cody and QT Marshall in an exhibition match. Of course, Cody was not going to lock in the figure four, was not going to hit Crossroads. So you would think QT Marshall's like, okay, I can handle. I don't have to worry about Cody's two big moves right there. I got a fighting chance. But again, the whole QT Marshall, being in Cody's shadow and just being all pissed off at him, I think it finally caught up to him because as he was coming back into the ring after going for a crossbody and he just rolled out with, of course, the Nightmare Family students and members around the ring to watch this exhibition match. Rolls back in, or not really rolls back in, climbs back into the ring, with Cody, holding the rope up like, hey, good, we're having a good match here. Hits Cole Cox, Arn Anderson, and we get a no contest as we had Aaron Slough, Anthony Ogino, and Nick Komotoro take out everyone around ringside, take out Dustin Rhodes, Cody, and just leave them all bloody. And it was destructive. Just pure destruction right there, essentially severing the Nightmare Family down in the half. Just crazy on that. Pinnacle, of course, running the Inner Circle out of town for a little while, thinking, hey, let's take over their locker room this past week. Let's revamp it. Of course, it's going to be our locker room now, as MJF was looking through and, hey, we get rid of the musty smell, the shitty smell in the bathroom. Jericho and members of the Inner Circle in there, closes it. It's like, hey, we got to get the hell out of here. Goes to the main door. Here comes Jake Hager, and all hell breaks loose. Craziness, brawl between all the members. Jericho essentially flushing MJF down the toilet and beating him up. It was just all crazy with these guys essentially brawling, throughout the hallway and in the back. It was a great segment with those guys as the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle rivalry is going to heat up. I want to see this match. I would not even be surprised. Hear me out. If we see this matchup, Pinnacle, Inner Circle, for a match in a type of match we were supposed to get last year, but we didn't get it because of everything going on in the world with the pandemic and everything. I would not be surprised if we get the blood and guts match that we were supposed to get last year. I would not legitimately be surprised if we don't get blood and guts, as it was supposed to be, that, the big blood and guts match with Inner Circle taking on the Elite. I would not be surprised if we get that. But of course, due to the pandemic and everything, it got 86. But I hope we see this. This will be a great matchup, to say the least, between these two inner factions right now. And of course, speaking of the factions part, especially in AEW, I have you guys really been noticing that Dynamite has just been a faction haven right now in the world? I mean, if you stop and think about it, just really stop and think about the faction list that's going on in AEW. We have currently on the card right now for factions, we have Inner Circle with Jericho, Sammy, Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager. Got one. You have Team Taz, Hook, Brian Cage, Will Hobbs, Ricky Starks. Okay. The Pinnacle, MJF, Sean Spears, Wardlow, Dash and Cash, Tully Blanchard. So you got 3 groups right there. Dark Order, -1, Brody Lee Jr., Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Alan Angels, Anna Jay, currently injured right now, Preston Vance, currently members. So you got 4 groups right there. 3, 4. The Nightmare Family, Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, Brandy, Arn, Lee Johnson, Billy, Austin, and Colton Gunn of the Gun Club. So you got 5 groups right there. QT Marshall, and his, obviously the guys are going to go with him. QT Marshall, Aaron Slough, Nick Kamatoro, and Anthony Ojo. I cannot say his name. Name butchers here. So that's 6. Super Elite with Omega, Gallows, Anderson, and Michael Nakazawa, Kenny's best friend, and of course Don Callis. That's 7. Hardy's Family Office, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, a private party right there. The Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny. That's 8. So you have 8 factions right there of more than 3 people. You have 8 factions in your, 7 factions in your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 factions. It is faction heavy in there. And I get, you brand new company and a lot of these people are friends with each other and everything. But 8 people on one show. How crazy is that? That you got 8 groups. I mean, big groups in one company right now. I don't even remember WWE or any time that there was 8 groups. I mean, maybe DX, Nation. Trying to think of who else, at least in one time frame that there was a group or a big faction. Corporation, the Ministry. No, not even at that time. I mean, there has been so many lightness on the factions that AEW right now is just blown up in faction groups everywhere. I mean, even with, trios or smaller factions, you got Best Friends, the Pretty Picture, have guys who I've never, of course, Pretty Picture, never heard of these guys as much. Death Triangle, Jurassic Express. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 trios / smaller factions. Okay, 3 right there. And a lot of those groups and factions have tag teams in their factions. So it is just so wildly heavy in the groups. I mean, it feels like high school again over there at AEW. If you hook up with this group over here, you're part of their faction. And you're going to go to war with that faction. So it just feels like high school over again, where you got the cliques and you got the groups over here that you hang out with and you converge with. So it just feels weird to me that you got 8 factions, and it feels like it just is. I would not be surprised if there's going to be more coming in the near future, but with the 2 super ones, I mean, of course, I would say maybe the 3 that are there is the Dark Order, the Pinnacle, and Inner Circle right now. Just on the merits of what they're able to do, and of course the stories that have been, everything that's been going around these guys, and including them, I would not be surprised if the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle fight each other and one of them just disappears and breaks up, to say the least, within the next several months. I mean, Dark Order, I think, again, with everything that's happened to the Dark Order, I think that one's going to be still staying around for some more time, just because of the, with Brody Lee in the passing and everyone's liking the Dark Order. I think that one's going to be a group that's just going to stay together. Nothing real drastic is going to happen. I mean, we just had something drastic happen with the Nightmare family as it just split with the QT Marshall's group now going from the Nightmare family. And that's going to cause chaos and problems with that. But it's just going to be so crazy around AEW for the next little while with these factions going at each other for a while. So, I mean, if you leave a comment, if you feel the same way about me with the factions, how it just has been faction heaven over there at AEW, while WWE is more tag team, like a little less tag teams and more individuals, to where you feel like you can gather your thoughts a little bit on that. But just for something for you guys to think about with the factions, really go back and look at what everyone, all these people that are grouped together, they're being paired off. If it's a tag team that joins a group or, becomes a group, or individuals like Dark Order that came together slowly and everything and just grew. But, whew. Let's get back to Dynamite quickly. Moxley taking on Cesar Boney in one-on-one action. Mox picks up the victory. Kenny Omega and the Good Bros. Of course, Kenny Omega on the road to Rebellion to take on Impact's world champion Rich Swann in a title match coming up. What did I say? In the month of, what was it? Nope. Yep. April 24th, we know that it will be Rich Swann taking on Kenny Omega, title for title, champion versus champion, title for title match. And Kenny is looking to add more gold. I mean, he's got the AAA world title, AEW world title, and he wants to add those Impact world titles or title to his collection. And of course, the Good Bros looking to regain their Impact World Tag Team titles from FinJuice. Of course, at Rebellion, April 24th. And they looked real good against the Lucha Bros and Leonardo Kid. Great matchup right there. Omega and the Good Bros pick up the victory. Nyla Rose and the Bunny taking on Hirokashida and Tai Conte in women's tag team action. The Bunny looking great. Of course, Allie right there. Nyla Rose and the Bunny pick up the victory on the world champ, Hirokashida. And then, of course, main event and Arcade Anarchy. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, best friends, taking on Miro, the best man, and Kip Sabian. This was crazy. Legos, as thumbtacks, I would say, but you don't want to be slammed in or step on a Lego. It hurts like hell, which is what happened. Arcades surrounding the ring. We had prizes, air hockey, a claw machine. What else do we have? We had just utter destruction in this match, and it was fun to watch. We saw Miro toss up what was supposed to be a token, but it was a Mortal Kombat machine and just completely missed Chuck Taylor. Just a lot of craziness. It was a fun match. Go back and watch that if you can. As Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, of course, Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy lose. Chuck Taylor would once again be Miro's butler for permanent butler. Didn't happen. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy pick up the victory in this Arcade Anarchy match. And hopefully from this, Miro moves on and gets into hopefully title contention for him, as I feel like he could probably do wonders for the AEW world title. I could very well see him be AEW world champion. Other big last little bit before we head back over to NXT and WrestleMania talk. Of course, we know this coming week and on Sunday will be Sakura Genesis on April 4th. We know IWGP World's Heavyweight title is on the line. And guess what, guys? It has been revealed. We now know what this new World's Heavyweight Championship looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this beautiful new piece of gold right here. Actually, let me blow it up for you guys. Booyah! I mean, that looks good, doesn't it? That looks like a great piece of hardware right there. I mean, it's not bad. You guys got to hand to, New Japan and IWGP. That's a great looking title. Now, of course, with the new title being shown off and let me put it to full screen for you guys. Look at that beautiful new World Championship in New Japan. The World's Heavyweight title, the IWGP World's Heavyweight Championship, the International World Grand Prix World's Heavyweight title. That is a great piece of World Championship gold right there. Now, it's already been put out there, unfortunately, that this new World Championship kind of looks like a piece of wrestling history that people want to forget in the women's division. It kind of looks like the Divas title. Now, I'm not one to judge people and their, some people liking it. A lot of people are liking the new title. Some people don't like it, of course. But to compare it to the Divas title, are you mad? I mean, yeah, it kind of has that little bit of a look to it, but I still kind of like it. But of course, we don't, the old IWGP heavyweight title was great. It was beautiful. This, of course, the new generation, new title. Got to break it in, guys. It's going to take some time for us to get you to come around to it. But I think it looks great, guys. I think it looks great. But moving on from that world title picture, of course, let's head down, run down the card for what we know for Genesis on April 4th. Of course, the IWGP World Heavyweight title will make its first defense as Kota Ibushi will defend his newly christened IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the New Japan Cup winner, Will Ospreay of the Empire. He will get the first title shot this coming Sunday. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles are up for grabs. El Desperado and Yoshibino. Okay, here comes, again, I said this once and I'll say it again. Name Butcherer is here. Yoshi Kamurui, again, Name Butcher, will take on Sho and Yo for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Tanahashi and Sachi Kojimu will take on Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. Tensei Naito, Sanada, and Shingo Takagi will take on the Great Okan, Jeff Cobb, and a mystery partner, Kazuchika Okada, Toriano, and Haruka Gato, and Torimano Ishii, and Yoshihashi will take on Evil, Kenta, Yuriko Takahashi, Taiji Ishimori, and Dick Togo, and a big, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10-man tag right there, and 10-man tag right there. And then Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. will take on Doki, and Doki will take on Tamatanga, Tongaloa, and Jado of Bullet Club in 6-man tag action this coming Sunday. We also know that the New Japan US 2021 bracket is officially up. We know that Clark Connors will take on Leo Rush. Brody King will take on Chris Dickinson. Dickinson. Ren Atara will take on Tom Lower, and Hikilu will take on Fred Roster in a 8-man tournament, single elimination. The winner will face IWGP US Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley for the US title. Not for sure the exact date when that will be, but the tournament will take place on Never Strong, on New Japan's Never Strong, I believe it is. Man, been talking for a while. I need a drink. Been talking for a while, but I needed that drink because we gotta run down the card for WrestleMania week, guys, for TakeOver, for the big shows that are coming up this week. So let's get into the big card that is coming up this week. Next week, let's start with TakeOver Stand and Deliver. As of course, we know that at TakeOver Stand and Deliver, we have one heck of a card coming up this week. We got on night 1, Stand and Deliver, we're going to have Pete Dunne taking on Kushida, one-on-one action. Walter will defend the United Kingdom Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. A triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT tag team titles. MSK, Grizzled Young Vets, and Legado del Fantasma, triple threat match for the vacant tag team titles. A 6-man gauntlet eliminator match for the number 1 contender for night 2 for the NXT North America Championship. Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, LA Knight. Let me pause that for you guys on that. And of course, main event night 1 will be for the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai taking on Raquel Gonzalez. This is a night 1 card, guys. I legitimately say this with enthusiasm. I want this card to stand and deliver this coming week, this next week. It is going to be unbelievable. Next Wednesday is going to be a great night. Remember that night 1 will be on USA Network and on Peacock streaming, simulcast at the same time, guys. So if you want to watch night 1, you can check it out on USA Network, or you can watch it on Peacock. But night 2, this is reminder, night 2 will be Peacock streaming only. So if you're thinking I'm going to be able to catch night 2 and see the NXT Championship, the unsanctioned match, the North American title, the Cruiserweight ladder match, the women's tag team titles, you're mistaken, because it will be on Peacock only on April 8th, night 2. Of course, the unsanctioned match with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. That's going to be a crazy match right there. The Cruiserweight unification match, ladder match with Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar is going to be epic. A great Cruiserweight title match right there. The NXT women's tag team titles were up for grabs. Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart defending against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell of The Way. That's going to be a great women's matchup right there. And of course, the winner of night 1's Gauntlet Eliminator will face on night 2 Johnny Gargano for the NXT North America Championship. And then the main event of night 2, streaming on Peacock, the NXT Championship. Finn Balor taking on Karrion Kross. It is going to be epic, guys. This is another card that if you miss this, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt for, because you missed one heck of a card. And it's going to be stacked both nights. So I kid you not, you miss night 2, you're going to miss a whole lot for that next Tuesday when they move to Tuesday nights coming out of WrestleMania week. But that is going to be a great card, guys. I cannot wait to see both nights. It is going to be epic as heck. What is your guys' favorite match? Heading into NXT TakeOver, Stand and Deliver. Mine, of course, night 1. I think it's going to be the women's title match, the NXT Women's Championship match. That's going to steal the show. But I wouldn't be surprised if the tag team match or even the United Kingdom title match is going to really steal the show. Night 2, I think the unsanctioned match and the ladder match, even the NXT title match, is going to destroy the building if it's already not standing already. But this card is going to be epic, guys. Make sure you guys go and check that out. But now, let me lower this down for you guys because I don't think I found the right one yet for it to break down the NXT or the WrestleMania card that is currently going on. You know what? I think I found a close second to it. But actually, you know what? No, not going to happen. But let's get talking about WrestleMania. I know we still have a couple days left, a couple shows left before WrestleMania, but the card for WrestleMania, this 2-night major league event, is so big. We just got to run it down for what we know right now. And of course, we'll talk about next week. I mean, probably I will be talking about after TakeOver. Of course, I will be back here next week to talk WrestleMania week with the final show before WrestleMania on Thursday. You know, our normal show on Thursday, but we'll still be talking about what went down at TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, the 2-night event. But of course, next week will also be, I think, Hall of Fame is. Yeah, again, Hall of Fame is next week also. Yeah, everything with what was the schedule? I forgot. Oh yeah, Hall of Fame's on Tuesday. So yeah, we got Raw next Monday. We got Hall of Fame on Tuesday. I mean, of course, Hall of Fame's already been done and pre-recorded because of them leaving Tropicana Field. It's already been recorded. Wednesday, Stand and Deliver. Thursday, Stand and Deliver. Friday is SmackDown, the final SmackDown, and then of course WrestleMania on Saturday and Sunday. Next week, going to be crazy. But right now, what we know for WrestleMania 37, night 1, Cesaro taking on Seth Rollins, 1-on-1. Braun Strowman taking on Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. The New Day taking on AJ Styles and Omos for the WWE Raw Tag Team titles. Bad Bunny taking on The Miz in 1-on-1 action. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander banned from ringside. And the main event of night 1, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's title is up for grabs. That is one heck of a card for night 1 on Peacock only. So if you're thinking or you can even go try to pay for it on, go and get it on your local pay-per-view subscriber. You're going to be paying a lot more for both nights. I guarantee you, if you go the pay-per-view route on your cable, your local cable or network subscriber, you're going to be paying a buttload. So it'd be better just to go through Peacock, because that's going to be one of the only ways you could see it. But night one, that looks pretty stacked, guys. I cannot wait for the SmackDown Women's title. I can't wait for the WWE title. And sadly, shockingly, I'm waiting on the steel cage match, because again, you got Shane McMahon, who can create some damn good moments, some crazy moments. And it's going to be fun. Of course, night 2 will be Sunday, the 11th. Riddle will defend the U.S. title against Sheamus one-on-one. Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn one-on-one. Big E defending the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews. The Fiend and Randy Orton going to hook it up one more time at WrestleMania. The Raw Women's title is up for grabs as Asuka will defend against Rhea Ripley. And main event of night 2 will be Roman Reigns, Edge, Daniel Bryan, triple threat match for the Universal Championship. Man, that's a big card. And not to be such a Debbie Downer on the big card on night 1 and night 2, but you're missing some titles here. You're missing some titles. You're missing the SmackDown tag team titles. You're missing the women's tag team titles from your card. Now, I'm pretty sure we'll probably get something, hopefully, this coming week. But we do know that next week on the final SmackDown of before WrestleMania, we're supposed to be getting an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That's going to go down next Friday on SmackDown. Let me get the participants for you guys of who's going to be in that matchup. This was hours ago. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal will have Akira Tozawa, Angel Garza, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Elias, Eric, Gran Metalik, Humberto Carlo, Jackson Ryder, Jey Uso, Kalisto, King Corbin, Lince Drago, Mace, Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Slapjack, T-Bar, and Tuka. Next week on SmackDown, right before WrestleMania, that is going to be a huge WrestleMania, the final stop on the road to WrestleMania. We'll have a special WrestleMania edition of SmackDown next Friday. So, just a lot of people on the final SmackDown next week. But we still got to get through SmackDown tomorrow night. We still got to get through the final Raw next week. We got Hall of Fame, TakeOver. It is going to be an incredible week, guys. But I've got nothing left for you guys left on this show tonight. I'm tapped out. But we still got one last little bit of business we got to do before we peace on out of here, and that's the house cleaning stuff. So be sure to like and subscribe to everything the Flex Network does. Like, share, subscribe. Share us with everyone. Share us with your friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, everyone on your Twitter page. Everyone that follows you, share it with them. Share it with everyone on your Facebook. Just share us. We want to grow. We want to be huge here. You can share us on our Facebook page, our Twitter pages, our YouTube pages. Share us we're everywhere. You can follow us on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. Just search the Flex Network. Everything's there. On our Twitter pages, you can follow us at the Flex Network. One for all your football and fantasy football content. You should be following us at MMA Evergreen for your mixed martial arts, UFC, boxing, all that kind of stuff right there. And then on the flip side of the world, you should be following us at the Flex, at FlexNet_PW Elite for your wrestling content, which you should be doing if you're here right now. You should be liking and subscribing to this. And then, of course, our YouTube pages. We have just search Flex Network for the football and fantasy football content. And, of course, Flex Network Wrestling for your wrestling content. Of course, here. And of course, we are on that podcast, guys. We are on that Apple, Spotify. We're on the majors. We're everywhere on the podcast world. But if we're not somewhere where you listen to podcasts, let us know. We'll get there. We'll flex on it, and we will bring you that content. But I will be back next week, more than likely after Takeover Stand and Deliver ends on night 2, or I may even be doing it, be doing something live during it. I don't know. We'll have to see where Takeover Stand and Deliver handles, but I may be doing it after the show and just doing a post-show reaction to night 2 of Stand and Deliver and a recap of night 1 and the final Raw before WrestleMania. But other than that, I will be back here next week, guys, as the ship behind me docks in Tampa Bay and we get ready for one heck of a WrestleMania week. I need to go catch that ship, guys, because it's WrestleMania season, guys. I need to get on that boat. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I will see you guys here next week post Takeover, Stand and Deliver. As the road to WrestleMania comes to a head. We're so close, guys. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I am the SnowMan, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out.
This has been the Pro Wrestling Week in Review Show.
You got some fellow Canadians.
But when you're from Calgary,
Where's that?
Alberta, Canada,
A one-way first-class ticket to Larryland. What is it with you folks coming to Florida? Stay in your own country. This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. Right here.
why me? Why me? Why me? Don't blame Canada. Blame yourself.
Feels like showtime every minute to me. I can't help it. No. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ta-ta for now.
We're out of time. Good night on Nitro.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Well, you're welcome, Jurassic Slap.